Hello everyone, it's Theme Park Avenue. I'm Eric with my most ridiculous video yet. I am rating every RMC in the world out of 10, but not based on the roller coaster, by its name. Before we get to this ridiculous rating, please subscribe to the channel. You will receive more roller coaster content in return. Now I should point out, it's very subjective how good a name is. I will give reason for each one, and this is just going to be a quick, kind of funny video, and most of these do have actual reasons, but you'll definitely disagree with some, but please keep that in mind. It's just a few silly rankings of names, and I'm just going to give each one a score out of 10 and then explain why. Let's start from the beginning of RMC. New Texas Giant, 7 out of 10. This is a good name. I think Texas Giant, given that that is still what the ride is, it is a large, giant roller coaster in Texas, and the new works quite well, because it was the first RMC, so it was a new era for roller coasters. If you overthink it, it's really good. On its own, it's fine, 7 out of 10. Outlaw Run, 8 out of 10. This is a really good name. It fits Silver Dollar City, I like it, it's good, moving on. Iron Rattler, 9 out of 10. This one is awesome. I just think it's a really cool sounding name. Rattler itself is fine, and then adding the iron is honestly a really cool name. I think it's underrated as a name. Medusa Steel Coaster, 3 out of 10. If it was just Medusa Steel, it'd be fine, but Steel Coaster in the name just seems weird. Sometimes I'm fine with coaster in the name, but calling it Medusa Steel Coaster, it'd be a little weird. It's like if you had New Texas Giant Steel Coaster. It makes more sense if I said Rattler Steel Coaster. It's a bit weird, I just don't like that. Goliath, 6 out of 10. Yes, it is a reused name, many times over, but I like the name because this ride is tall and a record-breaking wooden coaster at its time, so I think it fits the bill pretty well. And the sort of theme they have, at least with the logo, with it being a ancient mythology thing, I think Goliath works fine. Twisted Colossus, 6 out of 10. This is a weird name for sure, but when you really think about it, this is a Twisted Colossus. It's a large ride and it twists over itself many times. It works well enough. It's kind of a dumb name, but good enough that I'll give it a 6. Wicked Cyclone, 8 out of 10. It rolls off the tongue well, I like it, not much else to say, I just think it's decent. And it's actually really good. Wildfire, 9 out of 10. There's a bit of theming on this one which helps, and also Wildfire is just a really cool name for a roller coaster. Given this is a zoo that it's at, Wild really fits well, and I just think it's a really strong name. Storm Chaser, 7 out of 10. Maybe something that should be higher, but even though there's only one other coaster with this name, Storm Chaser feels generic to me and kind of out of place at Kentucky Kingdom. This is probably my weirdest rating, at least the reasoning for it, but you know what, I just don't think it's all that great. The Joker, 5 out of 10. It's fine. It works well enough, but it's nothing that special. Lightning Rod, 6 out of 10. On one hand, this works. It's same to Cars, the rod in this case, and it's fast like lightning, sure, but it's kind of stupid when you say it out loud. In your head, it sounds cool, but once you say Lightning Rod out loud, it doesn't sound like the most interesting roller coaster. Twisted Timbers, 4 out of 10. This gets points for alliteration and nothing else. Steel Vengeance, 5 out of 10. The only time Steel Vengeance is not a 10 out of 10. This is a fine name. It's kind of dumb. It fits with the whole theme of getting vengeance on the people who didn't like Mean Streak by making it better and Steel, but when you say it out loud, it's really not that good. Twisted Cyclone, 8 out of 10. Very similar to Wicked Cyclone, I like this one a little more as this ride is kind of twisty, and it's good. Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster, 2 out of 10. You do not need 5 words in a roller coaster name. 4 is my maximum, so I don't think this one's all that good. Railblazer, 10 out of 10. They don't get better than this. Railblazer fits because the ride has great pacing, so it blazes on the track. It's a pun, I love puns. A single rail, so it is significant in that regard. It's a really strong name. Quick, simple, not too many words, easily the best single rail name there is. Hakuge, 8 out of 10. The meaning white whale works with the awesome white supports. The only thing holding this back is that Hakuge, I don't know how to pronounce it for sure. So that's the only thing that kind of holds it back, because I don't really know whether it's a cool name or not based on that. Untamed, 5 out of 10. Canopy Lake wants its name back. Zadra, 10 out of 10. The name on its own, Zadra, sounds so cool to me. By the way, Skyguy R12 Turn is the reason I'm making this video, because he said Zadra was a bad name. I decided to talk about how I think it is a good name. This would be an 8 or a 9 on its own, but I looked it up. Zadra means splinter. This markets itself as a wooden coaster. That is perfect. 10 out of 10 for that. It made me laugh, so I had to give it a good score. Stunt Pilot, 6 out of 10. It's fine, it fits for what it is to an extent, but it's not that interesting. Jersey Devil Coaster, 8 out of 10. This would have been a 10 if it didn't have coaster in it. In this case, Jersey Devil Coaster just doesn't work too well for me. I'm guessing maybe they named it that because there's already Jersey Devil, the hockey team, but I still don't think it's all that necessary. Iron Gwazi, 6 out of 10. Can't wait for this ride to open, but Iron Gwazi is not a great name. I don't get too mad at it being themed to a crocodile. The name itself is fine. I would have preferred Gwazi's Revenge or something like that, but I actually like the name a bit because Gwazi is a cool word to me, and I like having iron in the title. Wonder Woman Flight of Courage, 1 out of 10. By far the worst for me, just because I really wanted it to be called Flight of Truth to fit Wonder Woman's character, and in my opinion, Flight of Courage does not sound as cool as Flight of Truth. I know some will disagree, but given that Wonder Woman is the lasso of truth, I really think it should have been called that. ArieForce One, 2 out of 10. I know there's some reason for it being called Arie instead of Air Force One, but if this was called Air Force One spelled properly, this would have been an 8 out of 10. But it just makes no sense to me, and I don't get how to pronounce it. I know this is going to sound like a weird complaint and all, but I just don't think it's a very interesting name. And that is all the ratings. As you were able to hear, Zadra and Railblazer were my favorites, while the bottom consisted of Wonder Woman Flight of Courage, Air Force One, Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster, and Medusa Steel Coaster. So clearly these Wonder Woman coasters really need to up their game name-wise. But thank you for watching such a ridiculous video. Subscribe to the channel for more content. I'll see you next time.